Gaydar Radio's Heroes.
So we come to the next category, and it is Personality of the Year in the Gaydar's Hero Awards. In this category, you could have voted for Cheryl Cole, Stephen Fry, Gok Wan, Lady Gaga, and Elton John. And I can tell you now that the winner of Gaydar's Personality of the Year, Gaydar's Heroes, is Stephen Fry! I'm delighted to say...
My favourite!
Stephen Fry's on the line to us now. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Neil. I must say I'm extremely touched, especially to be in such extraordinarily august company. To think that I had to beat off Gok Wan and Elton John in order to get this prize. Oh, that's rather oddly phrased, isn't it? Did you know what I mean?
Perfectly phrased. Well, you're a man of many words, so that's
Would you be terribly upset if we renamed you Sir Stephen of Fry ahead of when it actually happens? Are we allowed to do that?
Thank you, Debbie. Well, I shall take it as a great honour, thank you.
It's only a matter of time, I'm sure. Can I ask you, who are your heroes?
Well, I must say, I think I'm filled with respect for Elton. He's really, he's become such an institution, it's easy to forget the journey he's made. And he really was one of the first significant figure to come out publicly, proudly and happily. And the work he's done for the LGBT community is pretty astonishing, actually. I mean, he's really an incredible man, and I admire him enormously. Great fan of Lady Gaga, too. She's beginning to do similar things in America. I think the work she does, for the, gays in the military and various other things, and for sort of outsiders generally. I mean, she's an extraordinary character, and I'm a great admirer. So those two, who are in the same category as me, I have to say, I really would have been very proud just to be mentioned in the same breath as them.
So, Stephen, can I ask you to give a message to all your gay fans who voted for you in this category?
Well, I'd like to thank them very much indeed, and to say that I'm honoured to be counted as a gay man who's proud to be gay and happy to be connected with gay causes that make people's lives more livable. It's easy for a lot of people to think that all the battles have been won and that just going on about being gay nowadays is rather a pointless bore. But as we know, there are really important things, one of which is the terrible increase of gay teenagers self-harming and committing suicide and feeling extremely alienated. And there's still a lot of playground taunting and a lot of bullying and homophobia. And there's a lot that still has to be done, if you like, in order to make the lives of lesbian, gay, bi and transgender people more acceptable, more accepted, if you like.
Absolutely.
There's a lovely thing that we were very touched by the letter that you wrote to your 16-year-old self. Oh, yeah. And you say here, before you damn anyone for failing to come out, look to their parents. The answer almost always lies there. Oh, how lucky in that department in so many ways you are, young Stephen. Yeah. We were just wondering, how did your parents react to you finding out that you were gay?
Well, they just couldn't have been more perfect about it, really. And my father was warm and supportive, and my mother said she thinks she's somehow always known in the way that mothers do.
Mothers do.
Mothers
know.
Mums know.
They do. Mothers just plain know. And I think that's right. So, I mean, I remember years ago we were organising this evening of comedy and music to complain about the rather bizarre. Was it called Section 28?
Oh, yes.
Yes, do you remember that?
Clause 28, yes.
Yeah. And I remember when we were talking about it, I thought it'd be a rather fun idea to have a to have a cupboard, to have a huge sort of cupboard in the middle of at the back of the stage. And at the beginning, as the presenter, I'd come on and say, there's someone in that closet there. And before the evening is out, they're going to come out of the closet. And I asked several of my friends who are well known in the entertainment field who weren't out, whether they would consider being the person in the closet who was going to come out. And they all said, "Oh, it's a wonderful idea, but I can't really." And they all said it was because of their parents, because they were sort of known in the business for being gay, but they just felt that their parents just couldn't take it. And I personally, I understood it. I said this to Ian McKellen, who was very, I think, quite, I won't say radicalised, but his friend Armistead Maupin, the San Francisco novelist who wrote Tales from the City and other books, had been very, solid in trying to get people to come out. And I said to Ian, but these people's, parents are the problem. And Ian said, why don't you ask them the last time their father said to them, when are you going to bring a nice girl home? I bet it's been years. They know. And actually that's probably true. But parents knowing and wanting to be told is a different thing, isn't it?
Definitely.
And it's sad, but I think it's one of the major things that people have to get over. And I think for a lot of people, they're astonished by how good their parents are. But there are terrible stories of people coming out to their parents and then being completely rejected, which must be one of the most heartbreaking things that can happen to anyone.
Definitely by your own parents. That's the last thing anyone wants to know. So, Stephen, can I just say how wonderful that impression was of seeing Wow. Can we? You're well known for your love affair with words. Can we again take you back to your 16-year-old self when you were in the library going through all the books, but for a very different reason than just to read books? This was you searching for people in history through art, history, and literature against whom you had hoped to validate yourself by finding similar gay people.
Yes, that's right. And I think those are the real heroes. And I owe my sexuality an enormous amount. And one of the things I owe it, I think, is my passionate love of literature and art and ideas and language. Because being, when I was 10, 11, 12, 13, and realizing I was different, shall we say, it was a time when there was obviously no internet, there was no, there were no out people. All there was this world of letters, if you like, of people, principal amongst whom, of course, was Oscar Wilde, who were known for being gay or homosexual. And so I started to read the odd biography, and that led to others. You'd look in the back of the book, and you'd see a bibliography and you'd start reading other books. And so I just became aware of this enormous world of brilliant people, quite extraordinary writers and artists and poets and musicians, from Tchaikovsky to Wilde and Michelangelo and so on, who were like me, and that made me feel fantastic. It made me feel proud and connected, but it also, incidentally, gave me a fabulous grounding in world literature and art. Yeah.
Well, and also it brings us up to the present day, because I believe you're working on a new TV show called Planet Word, which is all about language.
That's right, yes. I've just finished the major part of travel for it. Been all over the place, the Far East and Africa and Middle East and America and lots of European countries, making a five-part documentary series on the nature of language, not just English, but where language comes from and how we use it, and how it's acquired in the brain, and how it's used for different purposes, to persuade, to aggravate, to seduce, to delight, and what happens when language goes wrong, and when languages become extinct, as many do, about 60 a year.
Do you have any Polari in there, the gay language?
We have, actually.
Yes, brilliant!
We have. I love Polari.
Fond of it!
I'm very fond of Polari indeed. In fact, funnily enough, I was looking at... this is really sad admission. I was watching Countdown the other day, and I noticed the word lallies would have been in there, and I was desperate to know whether or not it was in the dictionary.
Oh, that's brilliant. Do you know what, Sir Stephen? If you were a professor or a teacher, I would be the sort of student that would cling onto your leg and follow you everywhere. You're so knowledgeable, and you're so enthusiastic about how you express everything. In Oscar Wilde, which is a film I've seen of yours, which I loved, there's a recent interview that you did where, kind of, if you're straight in Hollywood or in the film industry and you play gay, you're congratulated and it's seen as something wonderful. But if you are gay playing straight, no one even blinks an eye.
Right.
And it's
so true. It's as if gay people are sort of along the sort of list of strangely weird people that requires staggeringly serious and brave acting to pull off, And it is a bit strange. I mean. It's just one of those odd things. I'm sort of not bothered about being typecast or not typecast anymore, whether or not, if someone is completely out, they're able to play straight people, or whether or not, it counts, whether or not... It's probably true that we wouldn't see Ian McKellen playing a devoted husband on film, though on stage, fantastic. He did a production of Strindberg's Dance of Death with Francis de la Tour, which was utterly brilliant, and you could certainly believe him as a long-suffering husband. But these days, I suppose we just know so much about people. It's probably our own fault because of social networking and all the rest of it. You know, all the Facebooks and Twitters, not to mention the EPKs as they're called. You know, these electronic press kits that go for every film that come as DVD extras. We know how things are made. We know about people. They appear on chat shows. There's no particular mystery in acting. If we think of the dear departed Elizabeth Taylor, although she was followed by any number of journalists wherever she went, she retained a kind of air of mystery because she didn't really speak about herself and her technique very much. Whereas we all do now, our generation just constantly appearing on chat shows and yammering about how we do things and who we are and what we are. And I think that's probably good on balance, but it does mean that there's no longer almost all actors are now as much personalities as they are actors. And perhaps that gets in the way of people's performances.
Certainly. I mean, I wonder whether in A Single Man, if it wasn't played by Colin Firth or a straight actor, whether that film would have just gone under the radar. Yes,
I wonder about that too, because I mean, it obviously looked very beautiful as a film, but in the end, it was people saying, gosh, you could almost believe that Colin was gay. Well, wow, goodness me. I mean, it's a bit more extraordinary if someone picks up a gun and shoots 20 people. You say, gosh, you could almost believe that actor actually shot people, which is a lot weirder, a lot weirder to do than just be gay. I mean, we all know gay people. I don't think many of us know anybody who's shot 10 people, which film characters are always doing.
Well, listen to Stephen, I think we've taken far too much of your time already.
It's been lovely talking to you.
It's been an absolute privilege to have you on as well. Please, if there's any chance that we could maybe meet you at some point in the future, we'd love to do a full face-to-face interview. That'd be fantastic.
That would be great. I look forward to that. And congratulations on your great radio station. It's really wonderful, and I listen to it, and I've got it on my favourites. Listen a lot, and I thank you again to all your very kind listeners for voting for me.
Stephen Fry, Personality of the Year. Congratulations and thank you.
GaydarRadio's Heroes.